2017, because this album came out in 2016. 2017 sounded like nothing but Britney knockoffs, and that's the tea, okay? Welcome back to motherfucking channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Britney Spears' best album because we are done with Britney Spears' career. I am going to be reviewing the Glory album soon. That's probably going to be the next Britney video you see from me, is the Glory album review, because I've already listened to it. I've told you guys this before. But I feel like this needs to be talked about because Britney has 9 albums. 9 different eras, 9 different Britneys, and each album is beyond powerful, you know, especially for pop music. She's always been that way, though, that she always has albums that are just like very important to pop culture, at least I feel like. And it's just so clear because she's so inspiring, especially to these new female pop stars, and it's so clear. I mean, at least to me, like, I'm not delusional. I can see that Britney has clearly inspired half, if not 95% of these new artists, and that's period. Every time Britney Spears releases something, I've said this and I'll say it again, every time Britney Spears releases something, you're gonna hear for the next 2, 3, maybe even 4 years, that's what music is gonna sound like, especially pop music. And she's done it with every single album, and it's proven, you know, like, especially after Blackout. After Blackout, everything sounded like Britney, and that's crazy. But let's get into this. I'm going to be ranking her albums from my least favorite to my favorite. And yeah, let's get into this. Before I do start, please like and subscribe. And this is my opinion. I want to know your guys' opinion as well. I want to know your from least favorite to your favorite, and why each one, you know, if you want to, but like, if not, it's cool. But this is my opinion, so let's get into this. I'm absolutely ready. Number 9 is Circus. Circus is my least favorite simply because it was the era after Blackout. You know, Blackout was a hard era to compete with, especially afterwards, you know. It was so iconic. And I felt like she came really hard on Blackout, but Circus, it was like I said, she doesn't have a bad album, but it just was uncomparable to Blackout, simply, and it was just underwhelming a little bit. But yeah. Number 8 is Oops, I Did It Again. I might get dragged for this, putting this so high up on the list, but I just feel this way because, especially for these last 2 albums, they were my least memorable Britney reactions and albums. And, you know, that's nothing against the album whatsoever. It wasn't memorable for me like the other albums were, and it just didn't hit home for me like the other albums were. But, like I said, she doesn't have a bad album. None of these albums are bad at all. They were just my least memorable, you know? Number 7 is Femme Fatale. This era was unstoppable. Britney was literally unstoppable, and I love that. I love the energy. Energy was on 10. Energy was on fire. She was going off. The only reason that this is so high on this list is simply because there was so many songs on that album, and she gave us not a lot of singles whatsoever. She could have done so much with that album, so much with that era, but she didn't. But it's okay, though. You know, I'm not gonna hold my girl Britney to it. I'm really not. But, you know, that's why this album is so high up on this list. The next album is Britney Jean. You know what? This album has been taking over my life for the last 2 weeks. And that's how it is with most Britney albums. They take over my life for the next few weeks or months or whatever. And that's really how it has been with this album. I love this album a lot. It's so innovative to me. It's a different sound for pop. It's a different sound for her. And she ran with it. You know, she took that shit and ran with it, and I absolutely love that. The next is Blackout. For me, this is where it started to get hard for me. Is Blackout and Britney Jean. For me, Britney Jean and Blackout, they're almost tied. They're almost tied for me. The only reason that they're not tied for me is because Blackout was the better era for sure. But when it comes to albums and stuff, I don't know. Britney Jean might have a little bit of an edge over it. I don't know. But the thing is about these two albums in particular is they sound completely different. They don't sound alike at all. Like whatsoever. And that's a good thing. I want to make that clear. That's a really good thing that they don't sound anything alike. But my point is, they sounded so different, you know, sounded so, like, each pop, it was like, how do I say it? Like, I don't know, they just sounded so different. It was pop music, but each was a different, like, vibe for pop music. I don't know, I can't explain it, but Blackout, yeah. Blackout's number 5. The era was just so iconic. I could talk about how iconic that era was for literally ever, you know. Number 4 is Baby One More Time. This is definitely top 10 best, if not top 5 best debuts from a female pop artist, to say the absolute least. She absolutely snapped, okay? This is where Britney really, you know, it was her debut. It was her time to shine. And she came through and did exactly that. And we fucking love that. Everything about that album was sickening. It had that 90s feel to it, along with that early 2000s that she invented sound, you know? And I fucking love that. Like, a lot. Like, this is definitely an album that I will always go back to and listen to. I remember listening to it and reacting to it the day that, or not the day it came out, but like, I remember the day reacting to it and listening to it, and Autumn Goodbye was my favorite song on that album. And to this day, Autumn Goodbye is still my favorite song on that album. It's so good. Ugh. We love Britney. We love Britney. And I forgot to mention, not only is the album iconic, it has tagged on along with it is the single Baby One More Time. Literally one of the most iconicest pop songs of all time. Easily. Like, easily. Let's keep going. The next one is Britney Spears' self-titled. This era, it really separated her from all the other people that were out at that time. It separated her musically. It separated her spiritually. She was growing as a woman and as an artist, and that transition from Oops, I Did It Again to Britney self-titled was iconic. It was amazing. Nobody was expecting it, and that's how you make a longevity. Like, that's how you get longevity, is when you can switch it up and still stay consistent at the same time. It's iconic. It's literally iconic. And this album right here, these 3 albums, 3, 2, 1, they were so hard to like put in the ranking. It was so fucking hard because Britney self-titled, every song on that album was perfect to me. And it had Slave for You. Oh my god. It's definitely one of my favorite Britney songs, literally of all time. One of my favorite pop videos of all time. She absolutely snapped. But number 2 is Glory. This is my first entire album that I listened to by Britney Spears. It threw me in a loop. Honestly, if I'm being honest, Britney and Nicki Minaj are the main reasons I have a YouTube channel, because I wanted to document everything. I wanted to go through everything, and I did. You know, all her videos, all her albums, everything. I heard it all. Besides the unreleased music, Let me know. Let me know unreleased music that you want me to react to, because I will and I am. I still have yet to review this album, so I'm not going to really go into detail about how I really feel about this album yet. But I'll just say this. As soon as I heard Invitation on that album, the first song on the album, I was like, bitch, she's coming for my throat. She's coming for my neck. And I instantly fell in love with that whole album. That's the only album I listened to in 2016. And like I said, every time Britney drops for the next 2, 3, 4 years, sometimes it's all Britney knockoffs that you hear, you know, and 2017, because this album came out in 2016. 2017 sounded like nothing but Britney knockoffs, and that's the tea, okay? Number 1 is In the Zone, and Britney was, to say the least, in the zone on this album, okay? Like, this is an album that, and I say this lightly. No, I say this, I'm just gonna say it. Every song on this album is beyond perfect. I mean, I know I said that about the self-titled album, but this album, In the Zone, is pop perfection at its finest. Along with tagging along on this album, Toxic, Bitch, easily, and I do say that, easily, is one of the greatest pop songs of all time. I'll say top 3 greatest pop songs of all time. I am going to be doing a video of the best pop songs of all time. And Britney will definitely be mentioned in that video. I'm sorry, there's a mirror behind me. I was just trying to see what I look like. And Britney will definitely be in that category, or in that video for sure, especially with Toxic. But this album, it just has pop legendariness written all over. Like, to say the least. The cover of the album is perfect. It's a perfect album. It's a perfect album with perfect videos. Everything about it is perfect. But I guess that's it, you guys. Let me know how you feel about my opinions on this, and let me know how you would rank her albums from 1 to 9 or 9 to 1. I don't know. Let me know how you would do it. But I guess that's it. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and bye, motherfuckers.